American veterans have made tremendous sacrifices at home and abroad. In recognition of their service, and to highlight one special organization that we have the honor of participating in, we're going to take a look today at the Mile High Snowmobile Club's Veterans Ride. This event has grown so much since its beginning in 2018, it's unbelievable. Thanks to the incredible sponsors like those showing on screen now, the club has successfully taken hundreds of veterans to play in the snow just outside of Denver. Veterans have always faced numerous physical and psychological challenges upon returning home. To help address these challenges, the powersports industry has played a critical role in providing veterans with opportunities to recreate, to heal, and to connect with others. Companies like G-Force have partnered with organizations like the Mile High Snowmobile Club to offer veterans training, support, and help to participate in riding events and other powersports activities, like the one we're at today. Powersports activities have been shown to have such a positive impact on veterans' mental and physical well-being. It provides an outlet for stress relief, promoting physical rehabilitation, and it fosters social connections. We can all play a role in helping veterans find new ways to cope and heal from the effects of their service. Today we'll begin by sitting down with the president of the Mile High Snowmobile Club, Steve. We'll learn from him about the history and the impact of this event. We'll end today in Grand Lake, Colorado at the event, where well over 100 veterans and their families ripped snowmobiles all day and had a killer time. This is all possible thanks to the generous companies and an army of incredible volunteers. Let's get into it. I am super excited to introduce you all to Steve Swetlowski. Did I say that correct?
Yeah, you did. Yes, sir.
Sweet. All right, thanks. He is the president of the Mile High Snowmobile Club, and from my perspective, as far as I can tell, the man behind the Veterans Ride.
Yes, but there's another person, Chad Dowdy, was, the two of us. He's a friend of mine, a military vet, and, we started this 6 years ago.
Yeah, tell me about how you guys decided to start this.
Well, Chad being in the military and, wanted to give back to the veterans who sacrifice, and just talking with him and riding and snowmobiling and the sacrifices that their families have to do and go through, the spouses, and even the trauma that the vets go through.
Right.
I've never served, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But Chad's a good friend, so we thought, let's start this. And then two is, I lost a nephew that was a highway patrol officer in Colorado, so we thought, how can we do it to all responders, military and the police department. But it just started the vets. The first year was 6 veterans. We raised $1,100 through corporate sponsors and
just picking
G-Force.
up the phone and calling businesses and saying, we want to take some vets out to ride snowmobiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Will you help us?
We were able to raise just enough to get the 3 sleds for the 6 veterans and took them up to Grand Lake for a day. This year was over 120 vets. We had probably about 50 volunteers, almost 200 sleds on the mountain that day. The first year we had it on the trail in Grand Lake.
Yep.
And that was the first year, and then the second, third, fourth year we, just did it on our own through our club.
Okay.
Donations of sleds and stuff, and then it just kept growing. And then last year we needed 30, 35 sleds. So Donnie got on the phone with Nick at On the Trail.
Yep.
They gave us a good price, discounted price to, lease their 33 sleds actually. And this year, we rented the whole facility of On the Trail, and he was gracious enough to shut his doors.
Staff it.
Yeah, staff it. And it was, he helped make it run smooth. He allowed us to use his parking lots for, the bonfires and feeding and the social get-together for the vets.
Right.
During, that, they were all coming up to me and, people I've never met before, giving me a huge hug and saying, I've never done this before. I don't know why. This was so much fun. And, thank you for doing this for us. And we got a combat veterans group. It's a motorcycle group. Mm-hmm. This is their 3rd year, and they actually donated the $500 check for us this year. Yeah. But their group keeps growing. They keep wanting to do this. And I got an email from one of the commanders saying that during the summer months, their therapy is with the PTSD is windshield time on their motorcycles. Well, in the wintertime, you can't do that. And they said, this opens up. He said, this was really beneficial to my command. So,
Yeah, absolutely. When I started riding a motorcycle, it was described to me as like meditation. It's something that like requires your full attention,
Right.
and that's therapeutic for someone who can't escape those things a lot of times. And that kind of gets back to why you guys do this. I mean, from my involvement, I've heard stories and a handful of whispers and stuff about how much it kind of touches people. Just that all of these people volunteer their time, donate their money for just a day to get these people out on a snowmobile on the trail. It's wild, because I know guys like you, guys like Donnie, go out and ride snowmobiles as many times a week as possible.
Right.
And so it's really neat to see you slow down and put this much intention and effort into getting people who just never ride snowmobiles onto them and seeing them light up with them, because they're really fun and rowdy machines.
They are. And, it's funny because a lot of the vets might be Vietnam vets. I mean, they're in their 70s, early 80s. So they've been riding before, but it was back in 1969. So you look at the machines back then to what they are today. It's big change, but they love it. And they, one story about 3 years ago, we had a gentleman that was going through some real tough health problems and issues, and wanted to, end his life. And he came on the ride, and it kind of rejuvenated. Talking to, we had the big bonfire at Idle Glen parking lot with, G-Force's trailer there, and he got the chance to visit and mingle with other veterans. And he said, you don't know what it did for me. So that's why we give back. This is why we do it.
It is super cool, though, to see how, it's so focused on them, because like I've gone out a couple days to ride snowmobiles and I'm struggling to keep up. I'm having a tough time. I'm cold. I'm swapping goggles all the time. It's difficult. But this day is crafted in a way. I've got a clip of Donnie explaining to his group that their comfort and their enjoyment is priority number one. We had so many volunteers, more volunteers than by far than we needed to just operate the snowmobiles. Because at any point we had volunteers that knew the trails, that knew the mountains on the radio to get people out if they were cold, if they just weren't having fun, whatever it was. And that was one of the moments where it really kind of touched me and was like, this is so much cooler than snowmobiling. It's so much cooler than, we could buy out on the trail and just let people go and do, but it's so much more than that, because of the intention of all of the volunteers to make it a special day for the veterans.
At any time, you're tired, don't feel good, whatever, right? That's what we're here for, right? You don't feel like you have to stay in the group. You don't have to ride the whole loop with us at any time. Just let one of us know. I've got sweepers all across this mountain all day long. We'll hit them on the radio. They'll come grab you, bring you back on the trail, come back, relax, hang up the fireplace, grab some food, drinks, cocktails, whatever you need. So anything you need, you just let one of us guys know, Tom, Marty, or I. And that's what we're here for, to guide you guys out today to have a great experience out there.
I know you're all tough, you're all vets, but snowmobiling, do we have any experienced snowmobilers couple. The ones that haven't, you'll be surprised how much it works your body. It really does. And so if you get tired and you want to come back, as Donnie said, just let someone know and they'll bring you back.
We're going to be 10,000 feet, so we're going to be drawing in lots of nitrogen rather than oxygen. So if you're fatigued at all, perfectly fine. Let us know. We will get you back and have fun and enjoy a cocktail hour with us again.
One of the things we wanted to do this year, 2 years ago, we had 44 vets and 37 volunteers, all in one group. And so that was a lot. It was almost too much. But it went off really well. Everybody had a great time. And then last year, we went to 60 vets. So we divided up into 3 groups of 3. And then we still had 37 volunteers. So we had 89 sleds on the mountain last year. And then to see what happened this year, it keeps growing. So maybe next year we move it to 2-day event.
Stay tuned. We're going to figure all that out. We've got a meeting here shortly to just try and start sorting some of that stuff out. Because you're right, it's getting to be. We want to continue to keep serving more and more people. The impact is the same for every individual who gets to participate, and it's really special to be able to share that with what I saw, which was almost 200 snowmobiles in that one photo that we were able to get.
It was huge. I mean,
massive, absolutely massive. So we will definitely figure out if people are interested in being on this ride next year. Where would you direct them to find you? Obviously, G-Force will post anything that we do about it, any signups, anything like that. You can follow our Facebook or Instagram or this YouTube page, and we'll definitely do that. But as far as the Snowmobile Club, if people want to get involved, follow along for events or anything like that.
Look us up on My High Snowmobile Club of Denver website. We have a lot of the information there. We'll be, once we kind of figure out the dates, we'll have signups, right away.
Okay.
So, and then we'll have to, when time gets closer, in about 11 months from now, we'll start hitting people up and saying, okay, are you coming? And, reminding them and
getting confirmations. And, okay, cool. So, and we'll link to that in this video. If you have someone in the area, in the drivable distance, I mean, we had people, it wasn't like everybody from just Denver was here.
No.
I mean, we had people from, we had sleds coming all the way from Wyoming.
Albany Lodge was gracious to donate 12 sleds. Thunderstruck Adventures from Craig Steamboat donated 4 sleds. Colorado Snowmobiles out of Golden, donated 6 sleds. And that's what makes this all happen. And Tori with Tubi was fantastic helping us getting those 16 sleds. Yeah,
she picked up the phone the week before, basically. I mean, it was pretty much the week before, and she said, we were on a conference call with her, and she was, oh, you don't have enough sleds? We're like, well, we aren't quite sure. Next day, she called Donnie and was like, okay, I've got this place, and this place. How many sleds do you need? They'll be there on Sunday.
What makes this thing go is sponsorship. You know?
And it's important to show people because all the work happens and the day goes by and everyone goes home and it's totally cool, but there's just so much work and so many people that come together to make that day happen that it's cool. I wanted to sit down with Steve and talk about the history of this and why they do this, because while I was out there, I was trying to connect with some veterans and get a camera in their face and talk to them a little bit more about their emotions and their feelings, and I was kind of bugging people a little bit, and I don't blame them at all for that. When I left that day, I was like, oh, I'm not sure that I got everything that I needed, but the next day I slept down and I was like, no, I'm glad I didn't push any harder. I'm glad I read that, because it was such a good day for these people that I didn't want to bring them into an interview scenario and get them out of just the pure enjoyment. So thank you for sitting down and telling us a little bit more about this day. We were able to introduce a handful of veterans who were out there at the ride, and I'll definitely play those clips and share with you the introductions of some of the people that we were able to talk to. It was a super cool day. Okay, let's start with an overview of the day. The Mile High Snowmobile Club Veterans Ride is held at On the Trail Rental in Grand Lake, Colorado. We invite veterans to come out with zero experience or a ton of experience. On the Trail is well equipped to take a brand new rider and put them on a sled and get them out on the trail. So zero or a ton of experience, we encourage you to come out and ride with us. So when veterans show up, we have 6 stages set up to check them in, get them on sleds and onto the trail. It's extremely organized and it works like a well-oiled machine. So we'll check you in, we'll get you all of the gear that you need, we'll get you swag from all of our great sponsors that have come out today, we'll get you onto a sled and introduce you to your group leader. At that point, we'll show you all the operations of the snowmobile, make sure you're comfortable, make sure your gear is working for you, and at 9 a.m. the first group rolls out to the trail. So we'll go out in a spaced distance. The first group is going to be our backcountry riders group, and those are the guys with a ton of experience who want to poke around off the trail just a little bit. After that, groups will roll out every 10-15 minutes and meet at a meadow where we're going to do a massive group photo. That's pretty much the beginning of the day. It's a really simple flow for our attendees. It's a ton of work that happens on the front end to organize all of this and get everyone in their positions. We have a leader, a mid, and a sweep for every group, so 3 well-trained people who know these mountains. So we'll take great care of you. This goal is to get everyone on snowmobiles who haven't had the opportunity to, or just want to come out and enjoy one. But after that, we have an entire location set up with all of our sponsors, giant bonfire, G-Force is cooking burgers, dogs, all kinds of stuff. We're doing giveaways. So after the ride at 2 p.m., once everyone collects back here, that's when we're gonna have everybody kind of start partying, hanging out, and enjoying the camaraderie of coming out and hanging out with other veterans. These companies make this event possible, and they deserve their moment in the spotlight. Thank you so much for your contribution to this event. Elite Surface Infrastructure and the Weems family, thank you so much for your financial contribution, as well as your amazing posse of volunteers and snowmobiles the day of the event. Tubi Outerwear, thank you for bringing your trailer and your staff. Thank you for the volunteer time and all of the swag that you gave out to our participants. Even more than that, Tubi outfitted 3 veterans with full gear head to toe. We made a separate video on their contribution to the Veterans Ride, and I encourage you to check that out. Bohica Concrete Pumping, Bueller Companies, Lockheed Martin, Stonehaven Arms, Klein E Group, Colorado Mountain Rentals, Albany Lodge, On the Trail Rentals, and Thunderstruck Adventures. Thank you so much for supporting the Mile High Snowmobile Club's Veterans Ride.
All right, I'm Preston Lehman, a United States Marine. I went on a deployment. I was on the United States San Diego about 2020 and brought some COVID. It was fantastic. So what I'm looking forward to the most is just having fun out in the powder. This is the first time snowmobiling, so I'm just excited to get out and play in the snow.
Wait, what's your name?
Eric Mayer.
So tell me a little bit about where you served.
I've served in Okinawa, Japan, and I was with attached as an enabler with MARSOC Charlie Company, 2311 ammunition technician. I did 5 years in the Marine Corps, got out, and currently work with Elite Surface Infrastructure, one of the Chris Weems and all that. So it's my first time riding, and
First time on a snowmobile?
yeah.
Awesome.
So-
Very cool. So first time at this event as well, right?
Yep, first time.
How'd you hear about it?
Through the Weems family, who owns ESI and all that. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Very cool. What are you looking forward to the most today?
Definitely getting on a sled, and then, you know, the after festivities and just getting to mingle with a bunch of other people.
Sweet. Thanks so much for coming out today, man.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. What's your name?
Ian Slusher.
Very cool. And how'd you hear about this event?
Actually through my work. They're a big veterans proponent, and yeah, they told me all about it.
Cool. Who you work for?
So I work for Elite Surface Infrastructure.
Awesome. ESI guy.
Yep,
Very cool. Is this your first veterans ride with us?
first veterans ride.
Super cool. What's your experience on a snowmobile?
I actually did a couple rides in the military.
Oh, super cool.
Yeah.
All right. What's your expectation for the day? Have they run you down on what's happening?
They have not run me down on what's happening, but I'm just here to just follow in line and have a good time.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming. Thanks.
Absolutely.
We invite any companies in the area that are interested in getting on board with this to reach out to the Mile High Snowmobile Club.
Or G-Force, Donnie with G-Force.
Yeah, or us here at G-Force. You can hit the email that's in our YouTube page. You can just pretty much contact anybody at G-Force, and we'll know how to get you in touch with who you got to speak to. But this is I'm excited to see where this thing goes.
Yep,
and I'm
me
excited
too.
to be a part of it next year as well.
Well, I'm glad you're, for the first year, you get to see, and of course you come in when it's the biggest one that we had.
Yeah.
We doubled in size from last year to this year, so you had your hands full, and you
Sure.
did a great job, and thank you
Thanks.
for doing all this, and
course.
G-Force too.